Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Ebony, and this week I have something super exciting to begin to share with you guys. I finally have taken the time to learn how to sew a fly front. So I did record that process and I'm going to be sharing that with you guys this week. Of course, last week, if you're a returning subscriber, you know that I had a giveaway. So before we get into that, I'm going to go ahead and add everyone's names to the wheel of names. We're going to do our spin for this week to see who won the two patterns that I decided to give away last week. Also, I do want to mention the first giveaway winner. I have her name up here, Brenda Weaver 251. I haven't heard from you yet, so make sure you send me your information. My email is in the description below. Make sure that you reach out to me so that I can go ahead and send you the pattern that you won. Otherwise, I'll probably just respin the wheel and pick someone else who entered the giveaway. So Brenda, if you're watching this, make sure that you reach out to me so that I can send you your pattern. But let's get into this week's spin. All right, you guys, like I said before, Brenda, I haven't heard from you, so definitely reach out to me. This is the wheel from last week, so I still have it open. And if I don't hear from you, Brenda, what I'll do is just take your name off the list and then we'll just respin for everyone else who entered that giveaway. All right, so here are this week's entries. I'm going to shuffle it 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then let's spin. It looks like Simplified Chef. You are the winner. So make sure that you send me an email with your information so I can go ahead and mail that, or I'm sorry, those patterns out to you. Congratulations. Congratulations, Simplified Chef. I hope you enjoy your two new patterns. Again, make sure that you send me an email. My email is in the description box below, and I will be sure to mail these out to you. And then again, Brenda, for the week before's giveaway, it was for this pattern. So I haven't heard from you, so make sure that you also send me an email with your contact information as well. Otherwise, we'll just respin that wheel and we'll pick a new winner for this pattern. I hope you guys enjoy my fly front journey. Be sure to leave me a comment down letting me know what you think and look forward to the remaining videos in that session. Today is the day where I sew my first fly front zipper. So maybe I should say today's are the day because this is not going to be a one-day process. I haven't even cut out my pattern yet. But we are going to be making McCall's M8148. And we're going to make view A with some slight modifications. I'm just going to make them slightly longer just because I have really long legs. But what's special is, like I said in the intro, this is my first time sewing a fly front. So I'm going to take you guys along on the journey with me. This will be over the course of a few days, just to kind of document this process for you guys. And the fabric that I am going to be using is this Paradise Pink Bengaline fabric that I got from a Fabric Mart. I think I'm gonna press it before I cut the pieces out, at least in certain areas, but this fabric is stretchy along the selvage, so I'm gonna make sure to make note of that. This pattern calls for faux leather, corduroy, wool blends, and gabardine. So I feel like I should be able to use this fabric. I mean, we're gonna see, right? This will serve as a wearable muslin. I don't have any like plans to wear these shorts out anytime soon. I mean, of course, if they come out pretty good, then I'm gonna try and wear them out, but this is going to be a low stakes project for me and I'm super excited. One thing that I do want to note, also this pattern, I don't know if you can see the line drawings, but they do have welt pockets in the back, we're probably gonna leave those out. If you saw some previous videos or a previous video where I just had a sewing fill, I don't need any more high stakes projects. I really just want to practice doing a fly front. So we're probably gonna leave the welt pockets out. I just kind of wanna focus on one new skill at a time. And, you know, depending on how this pattern goes, I'll probably revisit this pattern later down the line and do those welt pockets. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and lay my fabric out, maybe give it a light press, and then I will check back in later. It's a weeknight, it's Monday. I just got off of work, I'm tired, so I'm hoping to just go ahead and cut these pieces out and then chill for the rest of the night. So once I do that, I'll check back in with you guys. So I just remembered that I got this cute little mini iron for Valentine's Day this year, and I've never used it. So like I said, the fabric is a little wrinkled. I mean, I honestly feel like I can kind of like press it out with my hand, but I kind of want to test out this new iron to see like if it's strong enough. I just plugged it in, so I'm still waiting for it to warm up, but I thought I would test it out on camera for you guys. Okay, so it's kind of getting the wrinkles out. It's just taking longer than like if I used a regular full-size iron. But it is getting them out. And this thing gets pretty hot, so I'm not mad at it. Here is where we are so far. I'm just starting to lay out my pieces. So like I said in the beginning, I want to add a little bit of length to the shorts. So I decided to add about 2 inches of length, just to allow for that cuff at the bottom, which is this right here. So they have a cuff. So I just added a little bit of length just to be kind of on the safe side. But yeah, I'm getting ready to kind of iron out my pieces a little bit more and lay them out. And one thing that I do want to note, like I said before, this is Bengaline fabric and it stretches along the selvage. So I have it folded along the selvage just to kind of give me that stretch that I'm looking for. So yeah. All right, you guys, I've cut out all my pieces. I marked my marks and cut out my notches. The only thing I haven't done so far is I didn't interface the fly front and I haven't interfaced the waistband. I'm starting to get a little tired, so I'll probably do that hopefully tomorrow. I can kind of motivate myself or find the motivation to come back in here tomorrow after work, but it didn't take too long. Since I'm not doing the welt pockets, sorry. Since I'm not doing the welt pockets, that cut down a lot of the pattern pieces. So yeah, I only cut out, I think 6 pieces, the front, the back, the waistband, the fly, and then the pocket, and then the side front. So, so far, so good. It didn't take long at all. Like I said, it took maybe like 30 minutes or so. So I'll come in here tomorrow and hopefully interface those pieces and then maybe even start sewing. But again, this is what we are making. Hey, you guys, it is 3 days later. I think I started this Monday after work. Today is Thursday. So far, all I'm gonna do is just maybe give like 30 minutes or so of time in here. So what I'm gonna do is try and knock out the first couple steps in the instructions. So the first thing is to interface the fly and the waistband and then baste down the pleats. I have already basted down my pleats and I'll show those to you guys in a second, but I'm getting ready to interface my pieces. So I just have them, you know, laid out. I'm just waiting for my iron to get hot. And here are what the pleats look like so far. And then again, once my iron gets hot, I'll interface my pieces. And then what I'm also gonna do is go ahead and sew down my pleats. So yeah, this is the front. So they look a little rough right now, but I've pleated both fronts. And here is the other one. So let's see. So both fronts are pleated for the most part. So far, like I said in the beginning, this is Bangaline fabric, and so this is my first time working with it. It doesn't seem too difficult. I'm trying to lay the pleats neater so that you guys can kind of get an idea of how they're supposed to lay, since I haven't pressed them yet. But so far the fabric is doing pretty well. It's kind of rough, like a denim, but not quite as like thick as denim. And again, it is stretchy. So it's kind of behaving like a knit a little bit. In certain parts it is like starting to stretch a little bit, but for the most part I'm not struggling or anything like that. It's not slippery, so far so good. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and interface these pieces, and then maybe I'll move on to the next step, which is to go ahead and start adding the pockets to the front. But we'll see how I feel. It was a work day, so I'm tired, so I kind of just want to like relax, but I want to get as much done as possible so that we can get to the fly front portion of the instructions quickly, because that's honestly, you know, that's what we're here for, right? So I'll check in with you guys before I finish for the night. Okay, me again. So I just interfaced the fly, but I don't know if it's like my iron or like what, which, I mean, it could be me, but I have these little dots in here, and I don't know if that's from the interfacing or what, but I'm hoping that those flatten out. Hopefully you guys can see, but I have these little like bubbles in my interfacing, and I don't think I burnt the fabric. Like, it doesn't feel like it's burnt. It just feels like, I don't know, like it just is wrinkled. So I don't know if you guys have tips on how I can prevent that, or if you can even tell me like how it happened. I would really appreciate it, but I'm gonna keep going. I mean, if it bothers me down the line, I do have some fabric left over, so I might just cut this piece again. But now I'm gonna make sure to be careful since I'm about to interface the waistband, because that's gonna be visible. This this fly is not gonna be as visible, so I'm not super worried about it right now. So it is the next day. I left off where my iron-on interfacing was causing bubbles on my fabric. And so last night before bed, I did a little bit of like online research. And one of the tips was to try and shrink the interface side using like steam. That didn't really work for me. And then someone else suggested using sew-in interfacing, and I actually happen to already have some. So what I'm gonna do is just use sew-in interfacing for the waistband, and this is P45 sew-in interfacing. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's what I'm gonna be using. I'm so glad that I just randomly have this in my stash. So I'm about to apply that to the waistband and then move on with the remaining steps. All right, guys, so I have the fronts sewn together. There's like a square symbol that you transfer over, or like a marking. And so it had me start from that square and stitch all the way down to this front notch. So I did that. And then my next steps were to fold in the fronts to the fold line. So I did that. One thing that I want to note is, are there ever patterns, or has there ever been a time where with patterns where the instructions would mention when you should finish off your seams. I asked because for this step that I just did, it told me to fold in at this fold line, but it didn't say anything about like folding it under. So I would have just had this raw edge. So I just went ahead and serged like I guess this would be the crotch curve. So I serged the crotch curve and then just turned it in like as instructed. But I'm wondering if I didn't have sewing IQ, would I have known to do that? But like I said, has there ever been a time where the instructions included like when to finish off your seams? I know I've seen in like maybe like a Vogue pattern or two where they tell you to finish off your seams and then they have you like do a step, but it's not very common. So I'm wondering if it's ever been like popular to do that. But I'm getting ready to baste these down at the fold and then move on to the next step, which I think is basting in the zipper in one side. So we're getting close. Okay, JK, I had the instructions wrong. So I was only supposed to fold down the left side, and then I have this red zipper that is a little long for the project, so I'm gonna end up cutting it, but I'm getting ready to baste it down as the instructions say. And then just to show you, I did unpick the basting stitches from the right side, and then I still have this serged edge. So I have my zipper stitched down on the left. And then, funny that I just asked you guys if there's ever a time where the pattern tells you when to finish off a raw edge. It told me to finish off the edge of the fly. So I just did that. And oh, and I have the pattern piece on here because I had to re-add a marking that disappeared. But it had me finish off the raw edge of the fly. So I just did that. And now I'm about to go ahead and attach that to the pants. All right, you guys, so I have attached the zipper to the fly, and now I'm about to do the infamous fly stitching here. I just had to re-add the tracing line here, so I'm about to do that, and then we'll take out the basting stitches and see how it is looking. All right, you guys, here is the moment of truth. I'm so nervous to take this off the machine because I just know my top stitching is not the best, but let's see how we are looking. Let's cut these threads. Oh gosh. Okay, okay. This is the basting stitches to hold this in place, but so I went all the way around here. I don't know if you guys can even see with the color thread, but I think we're pretty good. I don't know. Let me take these basting stitches out and see if it's laying flat or flush, I guess I should say. Okay, I just took the basting stitches out from here. And so this is how it looks right now. I don't know if I will catch this once I go to sew like this part down, and then obviously I need to cut the zipper, but let's see if our zipper is functioning. Okay, seems like it is. Okay, I think I'm ready to go to the next step. I do see here where I kind of dipped a little bit. Like I think I was supposed to, I don't know if you guys can even see this mark, but I should have curved it here. But this isn't too bad for my first try. If it really bothers me, I might go back in and fix this curve. But for right now, I think I'm pretty satisfied. But all right, let's move on to the next step. All right, progress check. So I have both inner leg seams of the front and the back sewn together, and then I went ahead and finished off each raw edge. And I thought that I was in the clear because I feel like, or at least I thought that I got the hard part out of the way, which is the fly front. But the instructions, well, I won't read them to you, but they basically say to put one leg inside the other and close out the crotch seam that way, but how am I gonna put one leg inside the other if the legs aren't attached? So then I'm like, okay, maybe I go ahead and do, you know, the side seams together, but then I'm like, no, the crotch seam isn't gonna attach properly. So I did have to go and refer to a video on YouTube. I don't see any sew-alongs or pattern reviews for this pattern specifically. So I just picked a random pants sew-along video that has a fly front. And what she did was she put both right pieces together, like the right backs. So I'm about to do that, and I'll show you guys what that looks like, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just pin the crotch seam together. So like this is the hem, so I'm just gonna go all the way around and pin that, and then continue until I get to this part here where the zipper starts. So I'm just gonna close that out, and then we'll go from there. But I feel like this is gonna make sense. I'm not sure why the instructions would say to, you know, I've done the method where you put both legs together and then you put one inside the other and then you stitch it that way and then they're connected. But that doesn't make sense in this case since the side seams are not done until the step after this. So I'm just gonna kind of do my own thing and go from there. All right, I stitched and serged my crotch seam together, and now I'm about to put right sides together and then stitch up my side seams. All right, so I have my side seams sewn and serged. I didn't do them one by one. I just put them together and then serged them in one seam. So I did that on both sides, as you can see. So now it truly looks like shorts. And I'm just gonna turn them right side out so we can make sure nothing was caught up or no puckers or anything like that. So far we are looking good. I'm just mainly checking for where that pocket connects. I wanna make sure that it's laying flat, and this side looks pretty good. And then let's check this side as well. Let's see. Cool, this side looks good too. So here's how they look from the front. My fly, they're hard to hold up. But here's how we're looking. What I'm gonna do is just take a little break. I've been sewing all day, so I'm gonna take a break, eat some dinner, and then all that's left is the waistband. So we attach the waistband, and then we do our hook and bars on the waistband, and then we do our hem. So I'm almost done, and I'm liking how they look so far. I think I might try them on right before I eat, but I don't know if I'll record that part. It's awkward trying on pants or shorts that don't have a waistband because you can't really tell how they're gonna fit. The waistband kind of helps, but so far I'm liking it. I don't know if I mentioned the size that I'm making. So I'm making the size 18W. This package that I have is 18W to 24W. So I'm making the size 18W. And let me just look at the finished garment measurements. So I based it off of my hip and then kind of like how it's fitting on her, like baggy. So my hips are about a 45 to a 46. And the 18W, the hip, is a 50.5. So it's gonna have that baggy pleated look that she has on the cover. So, but I will check in with you guys once I'm done eating dinner and then once I decide to get back to it.